Becky Lynch is back. The man returns last night on Friday Night SmackDown and is revealed as the final fifth participant on Team Bianca Belair for Survivor Series War Games as the event just went big time. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of WWE. And coming out of last night's Survivor Series War Games Go Home edition of Friday Night SmackDown, arguably the biggest story is the return of former Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch. Let's get straight into this massive news story as we head into War Games this evening in Boston. And Becky Lynch is back. The man has come back around and she's ready to go to war. Last night's edition of SmackDown kicked off with a confident Damage Control hyping up their War Games bout against Team Bianca Belair at Survivor Series, with Bayley asking Belair and co to get a taste of what's in store. Belair, accompanied by her teammates Alexa Bliss, Asuka and Mia Yim, obliged, but not before introducing her to her other mystery partner for Survivor Series. Well, there's four of us and five of y'all, Belair, you like the accent there, five of y'all, Belair told Bayley. We didn't come alone. At this point, Lynch's music hit, and the live audience in Providence, Rhode Island came unglued. The man didn't waste any time in joining her War Games teammates in the ring as a brawl ensued between the 10 females. Lynch hit a Bexploder suplex on Bayley, following which she was confronted by the Judgment Day's Rhea Ripley, drawing a loud pop from the fans. However, just as Ripley and Lynch prepared to come to blows, Damage Control pulled the Judgment Day member out of the ring. The segment ended with Team Belair embracing each other and celebrating in the ring. Shortly after her comeback, Lynch referred to herself as the most magnetic superstar in WWE in a tweet on her social media profile. Lynch returning to seek revenge on Damage Control makes sense from a storyline perspective, it must be said, seeing as she was written off of WWE television in July following an ambush at the hands of Bayley and co. Shortly before that backstage attack, Lynch announced she suffered a separated shoulder in her Raw Women's Championship match against Belair at SummerSlam, while hinting she would be bringing back her The Man persona upon her return from injury. The segment ended with Belair and Lynch embracing for a hug, with Lynch acknowledging that the EST got the better of her in their year-long rivalry. The Women's War Games match this Saturday, tonight at Survivor Series, is the first of its kind on the WWE main roster show, and it will pit Belair, Lynch, Asuka, Bliss, and Yim against Bayley, Ripley, Io Sky, Dakota Kai, and Nikki Cross. And certainly, as I mentioned at the top of the show, SmackDown started off red hot, absolutely red hot. It was a really well done segment. It was fast, it was snappy. Literally, the show went on the air. Damage Control, Bayley, Rhea Ripley, they were all in the ring. They were all in the ring ready. Nikki Cross, they were all in the ring ready. And Bayley literally just went, let's get a taste of what's in store. Out comes Bianca Belair. Their entrance doesn't take very long. She says, we're not coming alone. Out comes Becky Lynch. And basically, I think 90 seconds into the show, Becky Lynch's return happens. They have the brawl. The show was paced really well from that perspective. So I thought that was really well done. But to be honest, you have to ask yourself the question, why? Why did they do this surprise on SmackDown, and why didn't they save it for Survivor Series? And I think the reason why is because, not because of Becky Lynch, but because of another 4 horsewoman, and that's Sasha Banks. The reason is because Survivor Series War Games is taking place tonight in Boston, Massachusetts, which happens to be the hometown of the boss. And a lot of people had speculated prior to Becky Lynch's return, at not so much in the more recent days, but certainly initially, once the graphic came out, and in the graphic, the mystery person looked like they were wearing, or they had blue hair, which is similar to Sasha Banks. A lot of people went, I tell you what, Boston, blue hair. She's been away from WWE since walking out of the company earlier this year to the Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis issues that they had with the Women's Tag Team Championships, etc. It's going to be Sasha Banks. It's going to be Sasha Banks. And I think WWE were really smart in this instance. They said, you know what? We could find ourselves in a bit of a difficult situation in reality. We could find ourselves setting expectations not too high because, of course, Becky Lynch is a massive star, one of, if not the biggest female superstar that they have in WWE at the moment. But they could have set their expectations in something that they were never going to deliver. And it's something that Vince McMahon's old regime did quite a lot. And it's something that it's a common occurrence in pro wrestling whereby there's a tease and wrestling fans, and I'm guilty of this, we get in our brains who we think it's going to be, And then when it doesn't happen, we're disappointed. But in reality, the company never said it was going to be that person. The company never teased it was going to be that person. Now, you could argue, well, why would you then put the graphic out with the person with blue hair? That is kind of setting up false expectations. And that is true. That is true. So I think WWE just wanted to ensure we don't want to have a situation in Survivor Series where everyone expects Sasha Banks to come back. Becky Lynch comes out and we're happy to see Becky Lynch, but at the same time, we're disappointed that we didn't see Sasha Banks. It's about managing expectations. And frankly, someone of the status of Becky Lynch, someone of the superstar drawing power that's Becky Lynch, one, it should be advertised ahead of time because it gets people to watch. And two, she doesn't deserve to come out and then people to not boo her, but then be disappointed about her return because it gets overshadowed by someone that was never going to return. Now, that's not to say, of course, that Sasha Banks won't come back tomorrow. That is a very real possibility. It's unlikely. She's got other outside projects going on. She's focusing on her acting career. She's focusing on a music career. She's, by all accounts, recording or has recorded a studio album. But at the same time, there have been rumors, there have been discussions that she's in negotiations to return to WWE. She's trying to figure out a contract situation with the company. By all accounts, recently, she was backstage at a live event, which would mark the first time that she was in a WWE building since walking out of said building earlier this year. So just because Becky Lynch came back last night, and just because Becky Lynch is wrestling in the War Games match doesn't necessarily mean that Sasha Banks won't be on the show, but at the same time, it's tempering expectations. Fans aren't going to get their hopes up that Sasha Banks is going to be there when, in all likelihood, she probably won't be. But if she does come out, it'll be even more of a surprise because we've been diverted now. And again, that might be also why WWE decided to have Becky Lynch return last night as well, because people thought, oh, okay, Becky Lynch is in that match. I'm not even thinking about Sasha Banks now because I don't even think she's going to be on the show. And if she does come out, it's an even bigger surprise and it's even more surprising. And people talk about it as a great Survivor Series moment and a great return. So it was smart booking, basically. It's smart booking by WWE. They did the right thing. They didn't leave it to the live events. They obviously, we would assume, would have done a decent rating on SmackDown as well, maybe, because they hyped up that there was going to be a surprise return there. And Becky Lynch's return too, it does make the most sense from a storyline perspective. As I said, she was written out of storyline via an attack by Damage Control back on the Raw after SummerSlam earlier this year in the summer. So it makes sense that she would return and she would be facing off against Damage Control in her return match. Now, it's interesting the tease that she did with Rhea Ripley because Rhea Ripley seemingly has got a litany of people lining up to wanting to face her. Whether it's now Becky Lynch, clearly they've teased that possibly we're going to see Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley at some point, which is very exciting. But at the same time, you've also got Rhea Ripley's feud with Beth Phoenix and Edge as well. Remember, Rhea Ripley took out Beth Phoenix back at Extreme Rules. They're going to pay that off at some point. We're seemingly going to get a mixed tag at some point, Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley versus Edge and Beth Phoenix. We're seemingly going to get that singles match at some point, Rhea Ripley versus Beth Phoenix too. But then also, you've got Becky Lynch hovering around, seemingly wanting to have some kind of altercation with her. And also when it comes to Becky Lynch's future as well, it's been heavily rumored, and I think it is the case, that it's going to be Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, WrestleMania next year. WrestleMania goes Hollywood. Lynch, Rousey, the match we wanted to see at WrestleMania back in 2019 before Charlotte Flair was added to it. The rematch, the match we thought we were going to see at Survivor Series. Remember, they've never faced off in singles action. They were meant to face off at Survivor Series in 2018. That's when Nia Jax broke Becky Lynch's face and she had to pull out of the match. And arguably, that's what turned Becky Lynch into the man today. Even this, super astronomical megastar for WWE. So it's a really interesting time. Becky Lynch back ahead of schedule. And obviously, Survivor Series War Games tonight, going to be making history, and it's going to be an exciting match. We're going to be getting all into Survivor Series, so don't you worry about that. We're going to have watch-along settings, post-show settings, preview settings. So be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Smash a like on the like button. Let me know your thoughts on Becky Lynch's return in the comment section below, and I'll speak with you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.